Hello, everybody. Good evening. This is Dr. Rao. I hope you all can hear me. Hi, Nestle. Welcome. So, kind of had a video produced on this today's talk, and I will present that after some people come in. But basically, I'm going to talk about being fully present in what are the benefits for us, physiologically, psychologically, and spiritually. You know, this is something we need to go in because something we can practice in these modern times when we are hurried in so many ways and we are kind of bullied too to do so much work, right? And also always going from one task to other task and not able to focus. That has become a uh, big deal in our organization, and I have to teach people how to be in the present, and I do that in my yoga sessions, so that goes well with that. People go home relaxed and are really in the present. If they come in the morning, that's much better. But a lot of people are not able to do in the morning because of the work schedules and so many things that people cannot get up because they were working late in the night or having a party or something. So I understand that. But I kind of get up in the morning. Um, Sometimes I get up 3:30 or something like that. And then I do a lot of stuff before even the students come online at 6 o'clock, right? That is too late for me, but that's fine. I do enjoy the sessions with them, so it's a very uplifting sessions for us, and then we establish ourselves in the present. At least I carry that through the day. I advise everybody to do that. I hope they are doing it. But a lot of people say they're much more relaxed, much more focused, much more in the flow and what's going on. That's good. Okay. But I emphasize from the first moment that I start the class, I would say, let's be here and now, you know, and then let's breathe in and be focused on the breathing. Doing the asanas, stretches, be focused on the body's response to what we are doing, and also not to think of anything else except what's going on right here. So keeping the attention in the present moment, that's a very good thing in the long run. Okay? And you have to work out so many other things too, but generally that's the principle. Okay. So what I was going to talk about is more of what kind of benefits we have by being in the present. One thing we know is depression, when you go into the past and then dig up all the negativities and then fortify them by thinking about it all the time, right? That is something everybody knows, but they cannot get rid of the negative thinking, and sometimes it is so strong. They have sadness, they have worthlessness, they have so many other emotional problems too. But the fundamental thing underneath is being really reinforced by the negativity of the past or what might have happened, but you take it as negative, right? And the other thing is thinking about what's going to happen in the future. So that breeds the anxiety, feeds on itself and becomes a big deal. A lot of people cannot work with it. That's why it's very important that you really say some of the things I kind of prepared and published in video is also like the physiological changes. One thing is for sure is we can have reduced stress because we're staying in the present, and then we're kind of really working on the parasympathetic nervous system, which is like a antidote to our sympathetic overload. See what happens in the work and everywhere is we go, we encounter something and we perceive it as a danger. It could be, it may not be, or it is in our imagination, right? But that threat kind of induces our fight or flight syndrome, and that is the sympathetic nervous system, and along with it, all the stress hormones. Oh, sorry about that. Somebody called me. Okay, so uh, that kind of fight or flight syndrome, the antidote is to relax, be in the moment. That means you are recognizing your thought is going away from whatever you are doing, whatever you are focusing, wherever you are, right? That is common sense, but it doesn't work at the time because you are so swayed by the negative things. So you need training of that being in the present. Okay, so just to focus on the deep breathing, that will help a lot. And that's what I do. That's what I advise other people to do. I even advise take them 1 hour, every 1 hour, 1 minute deep breathing break. Okay, present moment breathing break I call it. So you can do that in front of a red light. You can do that when you are going up the stairs to the hospital, or any of the occasions that I use where I can just take it easy and then just relax with whatever situation it is. Usually it works very well for me. That's why I kind of advocate that. Okay, and then we have this. Uh, lot of immune function improvement with the being in the present, where you are not really having this movement of thought, which produces the lot of deleterious effects on the immune function. You know, there are routines I do teach in my class, where you can work with the flow of lymphatic flow from bottom to the top, right? For those people who are not medical, our system has a lot of lymphatic nodes from head to toe, around the skull, around the neck, and then in the chest, and under the clavicles, and in the axilla, just at the forearms, and so many places they have them. The flow is like the venous flow from the feet to the heart. So they have to be pumped up by the muscles that are surrounding that, right? That's why this is important to promote that by really understanding what muscles are involved and then engaging them in some kind of exercise. If you are an athlete, you are doing a lot of exercise, no problem. You know, your immune function will be strong, and then you will be able to do your regular exercise for the preparation of a game and all. That's fine. But I'm talking about people who are sedentary, who don't do the movement of the body, who don't do the exercise. For those things, people, especially in COVID time or any other infection time, I do advocate this exercise routine, which is very simple. It takes 5 to 10 minutes from bottom to top. So you can go on the toes and on the heels. That stimulates a lot of calf muscles, which are very important to pump the venous blood and also the lymph towards the heart, right? So that's why we call the calf muscles as our second heart. It's that important. Okay, understand that, and then orient all your exercise, whatever. It doesn't have to be yoga. Any exercise that you do that will really strengthen those calf muscles, right? That's very important. And like that, so many different exercises I make them do in a constructed routine that takes 5 to 10 minutes. You know, and then you have to do it rather consistently every day, maybe, you know, or at least 2 or 3 times a week. Especially in COVID times, I made people to really understand the importance of it and then do that too. So that's like an additional measure of fighting against COVID. Okay, staying away, mask and all that, but also being healthy and helping our immune function go. So this staying in the moment really helps your immune system. There is a lot more you can talk about it, but that's okay. And then there is enhanced brain function. See what happens with the positivity and all that. I know I talked about neuroplasticity several times. Your cortical mass will increase. Okay, And that is something very important for you to do the memory or your emotion regulation or perspective thinking. All those things really improve when your cortical areas are fresh and really new neurons are forming in your brain. Okay, so those are all the physiological benefits of how you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, how to encounter sympathetic overload, how you improve your immune function, and how you enhance your brain function. I'm just being very brief, but you can go deep into that if you wish, but we'll go it later. Let's just summarize what I was saying about. Being in the present can have physiological benefits, which I enumerated just now. And then when you come to the psychological, it is about how balanced you are in your emotions. You are not going all the way to the very sadness, all the way being really anxious, like a depression, anxious, and all those things. Yeah? So what happens is it allows the individuals to observe your emotions, you know, and then you can develop a more detached perspective, you know. So once you improve your emotional regulation and reduction in negative emotions, like anxiety, depression, and anger, any of the emotional negative emotions, right? Anger is not good for you at any cost. You think it is going to be effective on the other person, may not at all. It will affect your health. Okay, and then of course there is a sense of well-being that you develop, and that is a very immediate result from the regular mindfulness that we call it. I call it awareness, but you can call it mindfulness just to understand what we're talking about. So overall psychological well-being, resilience and a great sense of contentment and happiness that generally improves with being in the present, not allowing our thought to run to the back or to the front. Okay, and then finally, on the psychological thing, it can enhance your focus and attention. That is the main thing, right? Most of the people don't have the attention because they are working on too many things at the same time, and that becomes a habit, and then you will have less and less. Actually, it is happening on epidemic levels. Many people are not able to focus, sit down and do things. They can't even watch a video that is a few minutes long. It has to be a few seconds. I think this is kind of not very wise in my viewpoint, but then people are going for the shorter and shorter. You got to be able to develop the mental muscle where you can evaluate, you can be with deeper and much important thoughts. Unless you reflect on them, you are not going to develop your inner psyche so that it can handle with the so many emotions come our way. Somebody may depart, somebody may divorce, somebody may die, somebody may get crippled. So many things happen in life, right? So you want to develop that resilience inside. And finally, the spiritual changes. What are the spiritual changes that this mindfulness every time or being in the present does? First of all, you have self awareness. So you see your thought. So from that, you can really say, okay, I can observe my thoughts, my feelings, and sensations, and without judgment. So this fosters a deeper understanding of yourself, how you are, how you react, and all that, and then it can also improve your self-awareness and self-acceptance of whatever you feel, whatever you are doing. You can see them as objective things, as separate from you, like your body. Okay, that's an important thing in meditation anyway. And then once you feel you are one with everybody, your sense of empathy, compassion defined like a passion for everybody. That interconnectedness, that oneness is very, very important. And then it can be cultivated through living in the present and looking everybody for what they are. That's the important thing. Okay. So if you develop a non-judgmental attitude, because you're all one, you are in one being. That's much easier. So you can treat people with kindness and understanding that way, and of course, heightened sense of meaning and purpose. Okay, this is where the ancients were really valued inner life compared to the outer life. It has evolved into more of outer life as the civilizations progress. The unfortunate thing is they forgot about the inner life and they neglect. Only when they are disturbed or have a life event that is forces them, people are turning inward. But I was always saying, turn inward, turn inward. That is what is human beings are supposed to do and understand and come from that perspective. So, in nutshell, I kind of gave you all the benefits you can have from the being in the present moment fully. So how do you go about it is every day, I have talked this many times, but I will repeat it again. Get up in the morning. Don't be overwhelmed by the movement of your thoughts. Stop it there for a while. And then just be aware. Be in the moment, be in the present of whatever that's happening around you. Be in touch with the weather, be in touch with the movement of the air and all that. Watch the nature it is around you. Watch the live things in your house around you, the pets, the plants, and the human beings, and everybody, right? Um, don't say anything from the field of thought, but just watch, and that will serve as a miracle. And then once you establish yourself in that present moment, then try to carry that through the day. And when you're working, be present to whatever you're doing. Pay attention to every action. That's my mantra. Okay. Whatever I do, I don't want to think about it too much all the time. I may have to think about it. That's fine. But then once I decided this is what I'm going to do, even a small thing, right? What you do is break that into small actions that you'll be doing and take one action. And when you're doing that, fully attentive. That is what I'm talking about, fully present. Then you'll be able to complete that qualitatively. You'll be able to enjoy that process because you don't have this result orientation that I have to get this result, but you are focusing on the process that you are involved in, right? So those very, very important. And then I told you I like every 1 hour take 1 minute break, and then you go from there. Okay. So my friend is here. I'll invite her upstairs. What Sonia has to say. Hi, Sonia. Yeah, I just was presenting about the benefits of physiological, psychological, and also this one. Okay, I have a video I just made this afternoon. Okay, I'm going to post that in the chat. See whether you saw it already. Okay. Yeah. Good. How is it? Good. It gives you the explanation and the being present, right? Yeah, yeah. So that's good. Okay, so a lot of people need some kind of documentation, so they don't want to involve in the philosophical exposition because they don't ask questions and on that. So I thought maybe that will provoke some things for them. They may agree, they may not agree, but what it is just to provoke the debate where we are kind of traveling towards the truth. Not necessarily we have to be correct in that, but just have to travel to the truth. So what did you like most about the recommendations that were there? There is a lot there talked about, and each one of the sections that you go through actually deserves a discussion itself. Because the topic of mindfulness is huge, right? Yeah. Yeah, so it's not including just like one general session, but then break it to the sessions that you put out. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. That's why I started the talk. I just enumerated briefly, so that people will. I'm placing that link in the chat. I don't know how to place it on the top. Do you know how to do that?
On the three little dots on the thing there,
Uh-huh.
that should have something to do with links. So I don't see
I
the.
see only public room, replace on, and pinned link. Okay, I see that. Yeah, now
Yeah.
I can see that. I never do this. That's why add link. Okay, I think I got it. Yeah, there it is. Hey, first time I posted it. I never bother about this thing. So that is there. So anybody can download and see that, so that they can enjoy it. Or they can tell me what is wrong with the video, my production, or whatever I wrote there and all that. So if you remember anything, ask me a question from there, Sanya, then we can talk about it. If you don't remember, that's fine too. In this way. Or your own question. What do you have? What do you want to understand?
Yeah. Of course, I know of topic of mindfulness, right?
Mm.
And of course, all of us goes through emotion stuff, right? So
Yeah.
this is kind of like a lot of our decisions and stuff like that because we are geared towards a certain
Yeah.
outcome in many ways, right?
Yeah.
We want certain things to be in our lives and stuff like that. So
Yeah, very
that
good.
kind of movement to how do you bring the present in and how do you take
That is the
live in
hard part of it. Yeah, very hard part of it, Sanya, because the emotional thing is something. Sometimes it can be very intense, and then it doesn't allow you to even look back, and you get to roll with it, and then you spend all the energy in there. That's why you want to practice being present when you are not really in those situations. You got to graduate into that. Okay, and as your perspective grows, as your reactions go down, not that you are dead, but then you develop, for example, a loving kindness, and you that becomes a quality in you. And then suppose you come with a problem, immediately I have the loving kindness come out. Okay, not judging. You say so many patients come, right? Some people do really not a wise thing that they have done without really understanding, or sometimes they are just happens. And then when they come, you cannot be a high priest and judge them and say, "What, you are so stupid, you did this, and that's why this happened." That kind of. Some people come crying because they have fracture, or some people come really scared because they saw a cut and they saw the blood. They are not used to that. Some people just think of these diseases because they heard this particular symptom is this. Okay, like you have a stomach upset, they immediately think they have an ulcer. How many people I've seen that? And some people, if they have something like a milk coming from the breast, they immediately think I'm really having a real problem, men and women both. So I'm just giving you situations where people are reflecting what their inner emotional self is. So the question is, do you just allow the emotions to come up and let them ride you, or do you do something to really understand your inner life, your own perspectives, your own understanding of the truth of anything, and also what kind of nurturance you have given to your inner self? All those things matter. So what it is for the emotions, you don't have to suppress them, then that becomes a problem. Or you don't have to let them rule you. But what you want to do is, you want to understand that emotion that you have, so that you have empathy to other person who goes into that state later. You are now, you're fine, but the other person goes through the emotion, then yeah, I know how that feels. And then you have empathy. Okay. In spiritual practice, what happens is, people go through those empathetic mode, not with the sense of I am okay and they are not okay, but I am superior, but more like a loving kindness coming through, compassion, where I was talking about earlier, passion for everybody. You have passion for your achievements, for your own happiness, that's different. But you have passion for everybody because you have realized that everybody is in oneness. You see how the whole perspective changes on the emotions once you are established in that real deeper self of yours. Make sense?
Yeah, thanks, Doctor.
Yeah. So be cultivate empathy, cultivate random act of kindness, cultivate this loving kindness. Actually, loving kindness is such a marvelous thing. The more you feel, the more it comes to you. Okay, so just this is one thing I prescribe people. Find out two or three people in the office or in the hospital or on the street and display an act of kindness randomly. You're not going to be kind to your colleagues or anybody like that. Just whoever is in need or whoever is not asking. It could be a simple thing like somebody is climbing the stairs and they are not able to climb and they are very slow. You can give them a hand, or crossing the road like that. Or you are in the office, you have a lot of work you finished, but then a colleague is overwhelmed with a lot of work. Go stand there and offer help and be attentive and then not expecting anything. That's the thing. Do something for somebody without expecting anything, internal or external, not transactional, but more like a transformational thing happens within you, and then you let it operate through you. That is the loving kindness that is liberating and sustaining and also giving you energy, and the energy same goes there. Very positive, very positive. Once you experience that, it becomes a habit. And then you will be able to do that loving kindness. Actually, this is true. The more loving kindness you kind of display for people, the more it comes back to you. So that's a wonderful thing to do. That's how you want to handle emotions, not being victim of the vicious swings of. There are deeper yogic principles where, suppose you have done some hurt to somebody, right? And then that comes back to you in this life. You can debate about that. Some people believe, some people don't. Okay, we don't know really what is true. And then uh, there is one thing is certain is if you are harboring negative emotions about somebody, anger, hatred, or animosity, jealousy, and all those things, then they are your internal enemies. And they are coming out, so you got to have a mastery over them. First of all, don't justify yourself. Don't be self righteous, like whatever I feel is right. But be aware of this. There is a state where I can be loving, giving, and really accepting people, right? Once you have that, then you will realize I'm doing that, and then these feelings have come. Then you can realize why I'm having this. Where did it come from? It could be background, it could be something you never noticed, you never paid attention to, or nobody told you that you don't have to be like that. You have to be kind and compassionate to people. It may not be in your family, and it may be all those things happen, right? So, if you are a person who want to understand the background and where they come from, you got to go and do what's called self-knowing, self-inquiry into what is your status mentally, physically, and also psychologically, and then spiritually. And that's where you discover that you will need to change. But you don't have to hide them just because you want to show people a better side of you, which is not. That is actually defeating yourself in a way, So accept whatever it is and then be non-judgmental about whatever comes up. And then the more you watch it, the more it becomes weaker and those instincts of hatred, animosity, all those things go, then you have this really lovingness, and that is a very good fountain that can be seen going up. Okay. Is it too much, or is that make sense?
I think, when you're, a lot of us as human being, when we in pain, we have
Yeah,
like a weight, right?
yeah.
And like, I guess my
See, there is an
should be how
implication.
do you bring, I know, loving kindness and all, but it's not going to be at that moment,
Yeah,
right?
at that moment it may not be, but it could be too. It could be a turning point if it happens. That suppose you are listening to this every day from me, and there is a drill down to you. You are more to really get into that rather than you have never heard about it. So the training, the education that our schools, our families, our societies breed us, that's all always separate, right? You are this, you are that, you are rich or poor, or you are black or white, or you are Indian or American or Chinese, all the division, always reading us like we are separate from others. That is the illusion. Once you get out of that, then you will be able to accept them. So if you are really emotional and you are really upset, most of the time it is about either your ego feels you are belittled or you are put down, or that's why you are angry. Somebody said something, but your reactivity is something that you could really control with practice. That's all you can do. You cannot really change the world. Remember the second arrow of Buddha. First arrow is going to come, but how you react is the one that causes suffering for you. So it doesn't mean that you have to accept them. You just have to be aware of your reaction, and it is you're seeing it going down. But if you let it continue with your continued thought and network of thought, and then you're going to fortify it, and that's going to become a big enemy for you in your inner self. That's why lot of spiritual practice is self mastery, not about other person. Self mastery of your own emotions, your own inklings, your own tendencies, your own unconscious habits, all those things. The self mastery involves a lot. But at the wonder of what? When you really overcome that you see what is it? Human. You are saying human beings. That is the biggest fallacy. It's like identifying as though our limitedness, our weakness as the human quality. No, don't look at the limitations. Look at the possibilities a human being has. So many people have displayed that here. Mother Teresa and all those people. It doesn't mean you have to be a nun. What I'm saying is understand where she is coming from, what is the kindness that she has, what's the concern she has. So that is where you draw lessons from people like that, and then that kind of mind can be cultivated. That's the main point. So don't go and assert the limitations that human beings developed as though they are natural, but there is a innate capacity of possibilities that are very high grade. And then the more you go towards it, the more you get it. See, everybody justifies their negativity by saying, "Oh, I'm just a human being." I think that's a mistake. They don't have to do that. They can touch the inner mastery, and then they can really be much more than what they think they are.
Yeah, I really love what you said the other day too, with regards to, when people come to you,
Yeah,
when, in that kind of hot state, right? In
yeah,
that, where emotionally, based, and you just say, basically your presence or your energies kind of calm people down, right?
yeah, yeah. That's the important thing, because if somebody is hurting, don't go and precipitate that by saying something, or by saying that you should not be feeling this. No, you got to accept what they are going through, but that doesn't mean you got to bring a prescription right there. No need. Just stay and be concerned, be kind, and you don't even say anything, because we are not having any movement of thought within ourselves. that affects the opposite person. Of course, I'm a physician. I got to be professionally like that too. But what the biggest thing for me, the ancient wisdom gave was in terms of physician, it made me more human. You see what I mean? It made me more of having that friendliness, kindness, consideration. Not this ego like, oh, I have so many degrees, so much of knowledge, so much practice. No, but more of coming down to the earth and really being the human being. That's enough.
Because you're, not only like showing the love and compassion, which is like within all of us, right?
Yeah,
We forget sometimes, and the ego comes in, and yeah, right away
exactly.
you try to respond
That's it.
and to react, right? So
That's it. Because the ego, see, the sense of the ego is the one that curtails our humanness. Once we don't have concern about the ego, our human qualities that are there, that is exactly true, and they come out.
yeah, I see a lot on the coach's side of things, right? When
Yeah.
you feel like you have to bring your authority in, and sometimes that's in terms of like, that's a reaction, right?
No,
Rather
no,
than
the authority is for the technique.
and
Other,
to prove yourself correctly. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. No, so like a doctor, suppose somebody came with pneumonia, I cannot just talk to him. I have to treat him, right? So that is where I don't have to put myself over somebody else just because I have some technical knowledge. Okay, use the technology, but then use it like a human being, not as somebody removed from the human being into a egoic entity, which is all nonsense anyway, which is going to come down at one point or other. Because there is somebody else who is greater than you, who has more more knowledge than you. So it's knowledge is not the thing. It's a question of what quality as a human being you are able to display.
The other thing is, Dr. Rao, like, you've been doing all of these things to like add a lot of value and benefits to a lot of people. Like, what are your hopes for, or maybe the hope is not the right word, but what is it that you want to be able to do?
Yeah,
Just
that is the fundamental. I don't do it for any transactional gain because I am already fulfilled within myself. So I don't need anything to really go there. If I have some emptiness, then that is the realization of the diamond that we have within all of us. Okay, once you're there, then you don't need these things to fulfill. You know, but that is a tall order for a lot of people. That's fine. But then you can be friendly, you can be kind, and then you. Some people expect some kind of appreciation, some kind of that still is egoic thing. But once you have transcended that, discovered this fortune that you have within, then you don't need. That's why it's called Hridaya Grandhi in Sanskrit. What it is the Hridaya means heart, right? The heart desires somebody love me, somebody accept me, somebody appreciate me, somebody really put me on their shoulders, or take me away, whatever, right? So all that is the knot that we are kind of develop, because of our ignorance. Once you cut that knot, that is the desirousness in the heart is cut, then you don't have this yearning for anything because you are self-fulfilled. That is the complete fulfillment they have. In Sanskrit, it's called Purna. Purna means that is uh, fulfilled by itself, whole in itself. Purnam means completeness. Okay, that completeness is there within us. Because we travel away from that, we want all the people to do all that. Actually, all these are pretty silly. Why do I have to? I have everything. Why do I have to crave for anything for a bit? I have the love in my heart. Give it, and it grows more. So that is the thing about it. See, materialistic people, think about matter, energy, and the mind, but they consider only matter and energy, but the mind as something spiritual. But real spiritual people see mind is also with the matter energy. Okay, that's the difference. Then all the yearnings, everything coming from the mind, you don't need them because you have fulfillment already. Ancient rishis, they saw this. They saw this unifying, eternal, always existing, complete fulfillment in all living beings. But it's more so in the human beings that is there, and you can turn inward and then touch it, really be with it, not really becoming it, be it. Then you will see that fulfillment coming through. Then all this silliness about I have to have external things, I have to have all these things, they will fall off because you are naturally forever fulfilled. Make sense? Or is it a tall claim?
Yeah, it's great, Dr. Wu.
Yeah. You don't even feel great about it. It's something natural. If you feel great about it, or if you say, oh, I'm superior than other people, then the ego has entered. That is the difficulty, most difficult.
But I use it for communication.
Yeah.
Who's doing it?
No, no. The I-ness, the sense of it has to be seen and transcended on a daily basis forever. It's not bad if you have an ego, but if you limit yourself to the ego and then miss the bigger thing, that is kind of unfortunate. So what it is again, you have compassion for people who don't know. You remember what Christ said? Forgive them, my Father, for they know not what they do. And also he said, they don't know who they are. This is something in Advaita Vedanta also they say all the time. If only you know who you are. When Vivekananda came to United States, he used to say that to a lot of people. If only you know who you are. His dictum is, everybody has the divinity. You got to turn in and realize it. Then once you realize your own divinity and you see the divinity in everybody else, then you go and work for the divinity, service the divinity. Then how can you have a grand idea about yourself when you are dealing with the divinity? That means you are already below the ego. Your ego has gone down, and that's why you are relating to people like they are divine too. They may not know about it, but they may not have realized it yet. Just because somebody realized earlier doesn't mean that they are superior. You just realize it's already there. That's where the modern society makes things outside a big deal and not allow people to turn inward and realize who they are.
That brings me to, of course, people who are so busy with their lives and
Yeah.
pay attention to themselves.
That is true. That is very true because the doing has become so busy, and then people don't have the capacity to take a moment and reflect also. That's why I always preach about calm your mind, because use the mind for technical purposes, but don't use it for inner exploration. Use the intuition and then be with it. And then usually it's very difficult unless they are brought up with this when they were very young. So it has to be in the culture itself. If the culture is promoting like so much money, you are successful. How many money people are happy? Show me. Then you will know. But then the people who are seeing people on the top of the ladder of the money making and they are down, they want to climb up. Even though the top of the people who made money are miserable, they have this inner despair. They don't have this loving kindness. They don't have the capacity to give. They're always trying to be fearful and protect what they have done. They may have some few pleasures in between, but basically I see a lot of these people who have a lot of money among the doctors. they have the inner despair that is really unfortunate, but then they succumb to the culture, they succumb to the conditioning, and then to get out of that takes humongous effort. It doesn't have to be like that. The education itself should start telling people about this oneness we have, this interconnectedness we have, this natural things that we have within us as human beings. You don't have to be superhuman being. You just be civil, nice, courteous, and kind. If you can do those small things, you may not even want to love everybody, that's fine. But at least this civility should be at a level. People play a lot of games, right? But that's all a waste of energy as far as I'm concerned. So I come here, I talk, I told you guys several times, I'm just happy to give. I made this video, not, I'm of the 20 minutes I wrote that. I think 20 minutes I just produced it. I used ChatGPT to put it in the lines that I want. And then all the ideas are mine, but it put it there. And then I kind of put it in the video, and then it gave me the video, and I put the music and everything, and it's ready to go, you know. And I hopefully it will touch somebody. That's all you can say. It doesn't matter to me whether touches them or not, because I'm not going to be less fulfilled because it's already there. So I don't do anything about it. Only thing is, you love, you give, and you serve. Those are the things that you do after you have touched that inner fulfillment. Doesn't mean that will stay there. You got to be cautious about it. You don't want to allow the non-self things I told you yesterday. Don't want to be over. See, your struggle is, you have an inkling about the self, but you are overwhelmed with the non-self things. That's why all the questioning, finding what is important.
I
It's
can
like,
hear you that Dr. Ram. Is it me or yourself?
what?
You were kind of blanked out there.
No, no, I was waiting for you to ask me a question or something, or anybody else. I don't like to give a speech. I like to have a debate or dialogue where it will be more stimulating. That's when I find a lot of things come out. you know. Uh, but then some people come and they don't want to talk about the topic. They solve something else, which is also not really needed. But then they do that anyway. But many people may not be interested in all that. So if you really want to explore your spirituality and then inner self, that you don't want to reveal to everybody, then you should be having a private talk, right? But if you are here, if you think everybody has the same problem, I don't mind exposing myself. You have no problems. Freely you talk, and then you will learn, or you will allow other people. But then most of the people are kind of have to protect their own ego. That is the problem. I don't have that. I don't care. I'll come and talk about it. Only thing is, keep it on the topic. Then everybody's time is better utilized. you know. So,
But you have friends like me, Nasli and Mitra is down on the audience that you guys, you want to, of course, come up. Please share your thoughts and, of course, ask questions as well. So, welcome.
yeah, Ivy is there, Nazli is there, Mitra, and
Yeah, because I ask questions because, we, on the topic of being present, how, like, in terms of your overall well-being, like, how important is that, right? And that's why I think, for yourself and myself, I'm coming to realize that that is what it's all about. It's about that experience in the moment, in the joy, in the love, in whatever it is that, in a lot of us, we do all of these things in pursuit of happiness, right, Dr. Mel? And so we get caught in the outcome of that instead of really paying attention to what's really around us.
Yeah, we can talk about that happiness. This is a revolutionary thing for me because I was raised like anybody else. We are in the pursuit of happiness, right? That was topsy-turvy when they said that happiness is not out there, is within you. That started the whole journey, right? And it so happens that is true. Once you discover that, it's not in the things, it's not in the achievements, it's not all that, it is within you. And they called, in Indian terms, they're called the Satchit Ananda. That means your own existence, your own consciousness, that itself blissful when the mind is quiet and then silent, but is used only when you need it, then you are in happiness, and that happiness comes out as bliss. See, that is the total wrong approach I discovered for myself, at least. So then, all the pursuit of getting some things to be happy is really not true, because you may pursue something, and in the journey you feel like, oh, I'm pursuing this, I'm going to be happy with this. But once you acquire that, like a new car, for example, when I first came, I bought a new car, right? Actually, you know what happened? It was very funny. uh, I went there on Lincoln National Bank. Mr. Tolstoy, his name is, so he was not Tolstoy, Tolkien, his name was. I went and talked to him. Obviously, I was in America, and so I was to be in suit and all that. I went there, and then I told him that I'm this physician. I came from India. I want to go around the hospitals and look for employment, and I need a loan for that. He gave me, without job, without anything, he gave me that. So that's like a divine intervention. Really. He gave me the loan, and the few money making is required to take car, because they had this job where I was about to take my exam. Till the exam is called ECFMG, Educational Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates. Since I graduated from India, I had to go through the exam. That's a requirement. Everybody has to go through it. They only give in the July and January, I think. I came in November, but the time to enrollment is already over. So I took it for the July, right? And till that time, I cannot go and get the residency and all that. So I got into an insurance agency that gives physicals to the insurance applicants, right? And I was supposed to go to suburbs and do the physical. It's still, I'm acting as a doctor, doing the physical and everything like that. First, very first job is that. So when I went for the interview, they told me, if you have a car, you will get the job, no problem. That's also not that much paying, but first job, right? I took the job and all that. Maybe that helped him to give me that. So I got the loan. I got what's called Toyota Cell, small car. And then with the car, I went around the Chicago north suburbs doing this physical very early, 1982, I think. And then 83, I got the residency, and then I was on the way to the doctor after that. But then see how things happen. Even the way I came to the country also was like a wave. I could not help it. I never wanted to come out of the country, but I came like that. And then and now reflecting on it, it looks like a divine purpose that has driven me at the key moments. Okay, one of the moments is this: discovering that happiness is not up there. Happiness is already within us. We just, I think Rumi said very beautifully, I knocked the door, then I realized I'm already in. So you're thinking you are outside the happiness, and that's why you're knocking the door. Happiness, open the door for me. But then you have realized you're already in happiness inside.
Yeah, that's great. Again, I say that automatically, yeah. But coming from the banking side, right? There's different profession that will grant loans right away for you, right?
Probably.
Without, like, I have my own lending approval limit and stuff like that, and automatically.
That was very small loan, Sani, at the time. At the time, it was a very small loan, so he did care, probably.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they have more risk in terms of, like, I mean, in terms of,
I was so ignorant of the process. I didn't even know that they would not consider you if you don't have a job in hand right away. So I was so new to the country, new to the economic system. So I just walked in, and then I was by myself, and then I was not nervous or anything. I just talked to him. I told him I'm this physician coming from India, and I have to have a car to go and do this physicals. I need that. And then he said, "Go ahead, doctor, take it." That's it. It was wonderful feeling to get that. And later on, I came to know it was very difficult to get the loans. So anyway, that was a good experience. But this pursuit of happiness was completely knocked down when I have this, insight into that. And then the fallacy of happiness that was pursued by a lot of people, and they never found it. They were one of the friends I had. She was dating this guy for 7 years, you know, and then they got married. And then within a year, they got divorced. And they said, we are pursuing happiness together. We're going to explore life together and all that. And then, so there were some real near experiences that I saw. People were pursuing happiness and they never found in the things, in the relationships, in any of that. And that made me investigate much more into the deeper thing. And that is where the what are called forest academies in ancient India. They're basically ashrams, right? So they got the kids close to this. This is called Brahma Vidya. That means the science of sciences. And that is subjective self of ours. So once you touch that, then you know what is happiness. Then you don't need anything to be happy. That looks extraordinary, but that is the truth. So your pursuit of happiness is a myth, basically. Can you imagine what kind of trauma that was to reverse your entire life philosophy like that? Convincingly too. But then the fulfillment that you feel, the adequateness, contentment that you feel is so fulfilling that you don't have to strive for anything. But on the other hand, when you strive for it also, you don't have nervousness. You just push. That's why many things go very well for people who are like that, inner contentment, and really do not care about outward results. So they are less nervous and all that. They do everything with complete fulfilled self. That's an important thing. And there is a saying: these kind of people look at what is a gold bar and a lump of earth the same. For them, the gold bar and the lump of earth, they are the same. So actually, creativity comes out of having this mind quiet and not pursuing anything outwardly, but then the creative urge comes through you as you are a conduit of that, not your small brain trying to invent creativity. No, when it is silent, then the creative thing comes, which is a fact with a lot of scientists. When they are quiet and when they are working very hard and then just to stop it, then they have this creative urges where something completely new has come. Many times it's all a recycled thought, copying somebody or imitating somebody and all, but not really coming from the creative side. You know, there was a woman I met this morning. She was an artist of abstract art. You know, uh, she said when she makes the drawing, she just makes the strokes, don't have a shape, or that's why she enjoys that. And that is kind of real creative, because she is not having a shape in front of her and that means you already have a memory and then trying to do it. But she is kind of don't have any restriction like that, and then she just marks that strokes from her own creativity. She didn't understand all of that, but she was saying how she happened. Then I communicated with her. She was very fascinated with what I have to say about that. And we're going to meet and then talk about it. Are you shocked when I said the pursuit of happiness is a myth?
No, I come to understand that,
Yeah.
You
are beginning to you're beginning to see the
yourself,
right? You're beginning to see the inner self of yours, Sanya. That's why they're not shocks for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is part of the the rather than when we work on ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, happiness is what.
That's it. When you're trying for the self mastery. That's what it is. The inner work is all about. You don't have to blame, don't have to judge yourself, but then just see it and let it drop. That is the self mastery, important. The wars that are go within you kind of subside with the clarity. Once you have the clarity, you don't have to believe anybody's religion, philosophy, and all that, but what's the clarity for yourself? It comes through, not through your conditioning, but your deconditioning yourself, the clarity comes.
Yeah, because of how identified I was with my own self.
Yeah.
I really pushed hard on myself, Dr. Ram.
Yeah.
With all the things that go around, there's a lot of blame that comes into me, right?
Yeah.
And that, that kind of like slows down my development, in many ways, or evolution, however you want to put it. But I feel like I needed to go through that to be able to, like, we talked about it in terms of experience, right?
Exactly.
Otherwise, you don't appreciate how far you've come as well, right?
Exactly. The reveals the more, then it feels like, am I like that? That kind of thing.
Yeah, that self mastery, like, it's for different people. It's different.
Yeah, exactly.
Approaches and techniques that will work, right? Depending on how.
Everybody has their own journey, So nobody need to stand aside and say judge them. They have their own journey and they will do that. Another surprising thing I will tell you, we are all realized, but we don't really know it yet. But eventually, after certain years or certain birth, you will arrive at that. So you have your own journey cut out. Nobody need to push you into anything. Then you don't have this like, I want to change people, I want to educate people, all those things will go away, because you will be doing it anyway. Whoever wants to listen, they will listen. Otherwise, they're not ready for it. Leave them alone. That's why I'm not bothered about the people, how many people come here, not and all that, because it doesn't matter to me. Sometimes people come, some people don't come, but I still deliver the whatever I have to say and then go, because that is recorded and some of the people will catch that. So that's enough, right?
Yeah.
There is a benefit though of this, even though you don't want it. What happens is your engagement with the truth kind of fortifies within yourself. You see, because so much of nonsense goes on around us. If we don't have activities like this, where we are exploring the truth in a sincere way, you can also forget and you become by the other folks like, you know. So you want to come and speak something, you just do that, you know.
Yeah, I came to share and ask questions, and of course, for me, it's about also contribution too, right? Because to be where I am, in terms of feeling happy and inside myself, I don't have any blocks as much anymore. It just clears out, and the way how I choose to respond to life is so much different than I would.
That process, we call it as self-knowledge, knowing yourself, you know, and that happens with self-inquiry, not like a, you know, rehash of the intellectual past, but able to see whatever as it is. For that, you have to have the clarity. If you are clogged up with your own opinions, with your own judgments and everything, then you cannot have the clarity. But once you have the clarity, then you see these things very, very easy. So strive for the clarity, they said. Is the clarity itself is the reward. Yeah.
I love the words, like you had the human enhancement.
Yeah.
Because, in terms of like striving, that's our goal, right? To be.
I'm trying to be simple so that people won't feel like we're throwing too much burden on them, you know. So who doesn't want to enjoy some enhancement of themselves, you know, especially if it is done in a loving and kind atmosphere. I think people who want to do that, they will. But who don't want to do that, that's their prerogative too. They can do whatever they want. But this video goes to some people in India and other places too. They listen and then they kind of feedback me. So that's why I know there are people who are listening, and then that makes a contribution to their life. So it's that way. I'm happy that I was able to reach somebody.
Awesome. But I don't know, because Wisdom has the link tree thing. I don't know if you have a link tree to Dr. Rab, where you can also post these things as well, because sometimes it's not a
I think I have this Koji. I used to have Linktree, but then this Koji was given to me, and then that looked very nice. I worked on it, and then I must have put it in the. Where is the personal profile? Is it there?
Yeah, so every time you talk about it, you can always refer to, and then you can always upload different videos under your video sections or anything that you talk about today or yesterday or whatever.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I have a lot of videos. I was having fun producing them.
Yes, I understand.
Even this afternoon I was at a room talking about personal finance and all that. But then that was my friend Teresa was doing, so I went for her. And I still restrain myself not to go full blast on the philosophy. But I told them my experiences. But then I found some half an hour gap or so. Then I produced this video. I thought it came out very well. Hi, Alka. Alka is here today. So.
I also love like the meditation talks that we do. I think there's a lot that we can, of course, talk more on that as well. Because people like there's so many methods like out there, right?
No, when you are in a talk, listen. But the next step is do it. Do it. That is the biggest thing. Understand it, to question it and doubt it, and that's all fine. But then after that, do it. Allow it to happen in your life. That is how you have a speedier transformation.
I think there's a lot of interest. That's why I brought that up, looked around.
Sure,
Because,
sure. Yeah, I
as
understand.
people are searching for these things, kind of like their own version of
Yeah,
like
they all tell me, oh,
happiness.
you must be a billionaire because you are doing all these things. I said, I don't get paid a penny. They don't understand. Even the wellness club, you see how little I put it there. That is also doing some exercise like they take, and then the six people they are there in the wellness club. One comes one time, one comes other time, and but no, all the people don't come on the same time. But I do it every day. I enjoy it. But
And
then,
I've been with you almost like we do it like throughout weekends too. There's no
yeah,
exception because
yeah.
it becomes a lifestyle, right?
Yeah, but you also took several months off like that. Those people also
Yeah,
taking.
I still
Yeah,
I
that's
will still take
yeah.
sometimes break because
It doesn't matter to
schedule
me.
doesn't work right. So
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me because I understand all those difficulties. Other thing is, I enjoy myself with the session with my wife or other people with my grandchild. There's a grandchild coming. She is actually not my grandchild, but my sister's daughter's daughter. So she calls me grandpa anyway. So she is coming here. She is doing a excellent technical course. So she is going to be in Washington D.C. and she is somebody who is interested in this, working for my company. So I told her all that. I'm teaching her artificial intelligence tools right now. Um,
awesome.
yeah, but
When
she,
are we going to India, Dr. Rap? Can we go to in the fall sometime or October, November?
I don't know because there's so much they're asking me to do in India. I don't know whether I'll be able to take some time off just from that. So I have planned a uh, kind of a video log, like a vlog, whatever they call it, video log. I want to go to several places that are having good, significant spiritual meaning, experience. Not promoting religion, but something that is for the universal laws. So I kind of came up several places, like an itinerary, but they said it requires 1 year to do all this. So I backed off all those
So
places.
you want to do like a documentary kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. First, I want to provide all the research, all the information about that, and then I want to provide them why the age-old philosophy is relevant for the modern problems. You remember that book I wrote. So once I compiled that, this idea came. Then people don't know a lot of temples, a lot of places, and all that, but there are some like a Shankara. He is like a so many Western scholars put together in one, and he achieved so much in the age of 32. And then the commentaries, everything he wrote, really astounding. Like that. There are so many people. J. Krishnamurti is one. Ramana is one. There are so many people that were really significant in astounding the wisdom of that era, continued to. I thought I will contribute in my own way where I can present in the present visuals about the significance of places and why. And like, for example, you go to Ramana, okay, the simple thing he said, there are no others, we are all one you know that kind of takes away inequality, racism, gender, all those things will fall off once you understand that. Even if you don't understand deeper philosophy, you all know that we are one energy. Even the physics also talks about this. Normally the thing may look as a solid by itself, but if you go to the deeper depths of it, is all kind of moving parts, right? So that kind of thing. So but then in what context, when they said, is more relevant now, because at the time at least relatively peace. Now we are ready to blow ourselves multifold with all the nuclear arms we are accumulating. And also the whatever I did with the planet is really, really concerning. So I want to leave that as my something like a small contribution that what who is Dr. Rao is a physician. Why is he talking about ancient wisdom? This is the reason. What he did, he worked with people who are burned out, stressed out, are really having this problem. He taught them lifestyles that are simple, that are easy to do if they apply that mind to it. And then where did they all come from? Because he went into not only the scientific studies of what he did, but also went to the ancient wisdom and studied and learned, and then get some of the messages for my children, especially I thought of, and then other people too. So there is a chance for me to document it. There is a yeah.
Yeah. So when is a good time to go? Is it dry season or?
Yeah, right now India, like everywhere else, is very hot, very hot, and
47 degrees, which
yeah.
is 116.
I usually time it to August or September, Sanya. That's when the places I go are kind of cold and not even cold. They're kind of okay with the temperature, you know. But these days, the the seasons have changed so much, so you can never predict. You know, it's happening all over the world. You know, but there also is like my sister told me it was so hot. Even with the AC, they are not able to handle it. You know, so it's very unpleasant to go with this time. You cannot take it also. Once you are used to this weather, your body chemistry changes, right? And once you go there,
Yeah.
it becomes a problem. Excuse me.
Yeah, I like going under the trees, but it's so hot in the
Oh, yeah.
47 degrees or 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Right?
Yeah.
It's like almost unbearable, right? Even with the inside the house, like that's why where we lived in Laos, right? It's like we have cement
Yeah.
stuff, and so it keeps things cool that way.
Yeah.
And so the houses are like that. The bases are cement. And of course, nowadays they have air conditioning and everything, but it's not. It like air conditioning is not good for the environment, right? So it kind of. But then I kind of need it, right? So, but lots of trees are really great in that sense, you know.
Actually, the seriousness of weather is so bad, so much. You know, there's big fish, dolphins, and all that. They're coming and attacking human beings because their prey, the smaller fish, they were driven out from the sea because of the heat. The water has really got so hot, they are not able to stay there. Because their prey is not there, they are attacking the human beings, coming closer. So, tremendous things are happening with the weather. If you really focus on it, a lot of people feel like Armageddon is here, you know. And that may happen too because the way politicians are going and all. I was in a room this morning. They were talking about this. They were telling all sorts of disasters that were going on. Then I referred them to a movie by David Attenborough. He made this movie because he is now in 90s, but he came out and made the movie. He was a exposure of what human beings are doing to the planet right from the age of 20. So that's like 70 years ago, probably. And then he constantly chronicled what the damage was going on in terms of chopping the woods, in terms of harming the animals, in terms of really changing this global heat, all the consumption, everything. So that I think you should see that, Sanya. That is on Netflix. It's like a life on this planet. David Attenborough. Okay.
Yeah, I will have to search it. The other thing that
It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. Go and see.
Yeah, I got involved in the Safe Soil kind of movement with Sadhguru, right? Because he does all of those things. Because in many ways, you have to reverse some of the things that are being in the farming side.
Yeah, he's ecologically minded, and he does a lot of movements like that. Somebody has to bring notice to that. But then this was there. People told about more people have to be aware of what's going on, otherwise we will continue to destroy. And I think we're in a path where uh, uh, the inevitability is that we're going to go down. Even now, Bangladesh, other places, they're under the water and they have learned to live like that for a while. So much nature was damaged, especially the ice melting and all. That's a very serious thing. It cannot be repaired. And I remember that Vice President Al Gore, he made movies a long time ago, showing all the data. The rapidity with which we have done to the earth is alarming. I think eventually, unless something dramatic happens, like say when the COVID happened, so much of human activity kind of stalled, and that helped the environment a little bit. Maybe we'll get some idea about that, and then everybody follows all the measures that we need to do. But actually, they missed the boat right now. They are not doing it. So that's another matter. See, another thing is, if you take ancient wisdom, long-term perspective of the earth cycles, right? They call that pralayam. That means once in a while that comes, all the life extinguishes completely. Like the meteor hit Earth and all the dinosaurs, everything extinguished, and then life came back again. So that's what probably will happen.
Yeah, I think in the yogic one, it says how many creations, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The yugas, they call it. The time sense is enormous. Even modern astronomy will tell you, astrophysics, they will tell you that. So it's all a cycle. Okay. So one thing about the philosophy there is, what is eternal, what is real in you is always going to exist. Only the ephemeral, only the temporary, like the body and the mind, they go away. So when you have that perspective, probably you are not going to be panicking. Yeah. It's not a laughing matter; it's a very serious matter. But we cannot do anything about it because people are so, um, you know, really unaware of this damage in a major way, and they are consumeristic attitude for everything consumerism, right? And that is the one which is causing. They said that human activity is causing the damage to the earth. I think that's real, and I have been told about this kind of thing since 1980s in a major way, as though they predicted, oh, it's going to end in this year, like that. But then scientists were talking about this extensively, and the politicians and the people, they indulged in this consumer behavior, rampant consumer irresponsible behavior, and then allowed Amazon and other things to be cut down, and allowed waters to be polluted like that, and allowed the multinational companies to do all the damage in the terms of just for greed and money and all that. Right? So they're very short-sighted, not wise at all. So.
In terms of what we're doing, like, you need that. It's beyond the knowledge, right? It's human consciousness that
Yeah.
has to
Awareness.
come in.
Awareness, yeah. How to,
Awareness and consciousness, yeah.
awareness of what's going on, awareness of what is contributing to it, awareness of how we can maybe do something. Even now, it's not at the scale it should be. So everybody thinks they're all them pursuing their own things, and that's all.
Yeah, everybody's waiting for the other people to do stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, there are movements, there are recycling movements, there are so many people. I know a lot of ecological societies and the movements that really work very hard, but that's not enough. You see, if you are doing something like a 1% of this kind of work of people who are working for the trees and all that, like a 70% of them contributing to the pollution and also damage. So that is the alarming rate that was there, not now. From 90s it is there. It is going to accelerate it now. You know why people are responding now? Because they have a direct effect of the storms, this floods,
Yeah.
all these things. So then now they say, oh, this is happening. But it was predicted in 80s, 70s. You know
Now
what,
it's like
Krishna?
for some areas
Yeah.
already too late, and the speed that we're going is quite scary, right?
Yeah, what Krishnamurti said at one time, taking the globe in his hand, like, it is our earth, sir. It is our earth, and we are damaging it. When it was in back in 70s, early part of 70s, and he said very very telling was, what we need a revolution in human consciousness about what we are doing to the earth. That is true. No awareness. That's what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
We can only live compatible with the nature and appreciate the nature that is available to us, and then maybe work towards really replenishing the earth. You know, by the way, that is a big philosophical thing, Sanya. Most of the time, what it is, somebody wants to learn some technical things, somebody wants to live their own comfortable life, and the whole movement of this is just like a self-centered, small idea, right? But real people were really concerned about all the earth. They want to contribute to the repleting the sources of earth. That means you not your personal gain, not your personal business, not your comfort, but the overall thing. The more you get your thinking to that level, the more the heavens are created within your life and outside you.
Yeah, and of course we're going towards blockchain
Yeah,
technologies too,
yeah,
and it's this. This is cause it's a lot of energy, right?
you know, I felt very funny this morning. I was there in that ecology room. They are really talking about a lot of, it's a genuine concern, and then they were talking about what is happening and all that. And then I come to the other room. They were talking about AI going to give them so much life and all that. So, where is the reality? Where is the awareness that this is happening? You know, so everybody is like kind of everything is okay, or they are not even aware of it, and you know they don't want to face this also. And I tell them, watch AI. It is a wonderful, but it can go in wrong hand. It can do a lot of that. That's what happened with the nuclear arms too. The same talking about the people who are inventing, or marketers, all those people talking about this other side too. We got to be careful, we got to have regulation, we got to really curtail this before they become. See, the problem with this is the technology for the first time is not going to empower you, it's going to empower itself. Machine learning, deep learning, right? So that's why the danger. If this comes into somebody else like a Syria, like North Korea, something like that, you know, not to them, everybody else also. Then the bad people will use it for massive destruction. That's your concern.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a cycle, right?
Yeah.
It's not the first time these things happen, and you know, for how are we like? How can you and I do the things that we can't do, right?
Yeah.
What we're asking right now.
Yeah, we got to be aware of it. We got to not to contribute to the damage by being rampant consumers, limit your needs and all that. That's one thing. If you take any major spiritual figures, you will see most of them live on the least possible resources of the earth. And that's a lesson to me, and they really appreciated that, you know. In 80s, um, on one hand, Kevin Costner and who is the other lady, the white lady, she was very, very good. French Lieutenant woman, she acted like that. She was there on the TV, and they were all talking about conserving water, conserving air and all that, right? That was going on one side. And the other side is more like, this rampant consumerism is going on, So that is always there. But then these people, even at the time, they said, just conserve energies, conserve water, conserve everything, and live very simple life. Now there are some people who are doing this minimalism, right? That is there. They survive on simple things, and then you can do that. We can simplify our external life as much as possible. So actually, you turn inward, discover this happiness we're talking about, then outward things you don't assume that much of importance. You need what you need. That's it. And beyond that, you don't have to have this desires and greed and all. I think it's 7:30. Yeah, 7:30 now, Sanya. I think anybody else has any questions?
Is there time for you? Or?
Yeah, I think I think another 20 minutes. I have something coming up. But,
all right. Have a good night, and
yeah,
we'll see you tomorrow.
yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Thank you.